for this. He like all types of stuff. And you telling me somebody has magical hands? And you haven't told me? Like what?
It might take a bit more than magic just to fix those ankles.
Yeah.
But that's
What do you got?
Steph Curry can do it. All right, so the first two we had we're talking about the benefits of diversity, right? And then in the second one it was challenging your teachers and their teaching, but then also identifying with who teaches you. So does anybody have any feedback from last week or the week prior? Anybody got any feedback? Anything that you may have picked up on, or maybe you were able to implement, make some changes? Because here's the thing, right? Like, I don't want you guys coming in collecting information, but then we're not putting that information into play, right? There was a statement that was made where we flirted with the idea of what happens if everybody in the room became a millionaire by the age of 25, right? In order for something like that to happen, you have to activate what you learn. So has anybody been able to implement anything?
I picked up a lot about our teachers, because we talked about how we let the internet teach us a lot of stuff, Instagram,
Right.
and what we see portrayed as success.
Okay.
So people, like when you go out on the, when you go around the block, when you go downtown, you can see people wearing like Chanel and Gucci belts, girls with Louis Vuitton purses and stuff. Like that is what society teaches you, is what looks like success.
Right.
But you don't know about all the problems that they have in their house. You don't know.
Right.
Like and especially on the internet, when people post, oh, I got my Rover, I got all this, I got all these girls and stuff. It's like it could be a facade, but you don't know.
For sure.
And then when I went to LA Fitness on Friday, like when we used to go, when I was younger, maybe about a year and a half ago, I would listen to what a lot of people said. But now I challenge my teachers, so I hear a lot of what they say, and it's just in one ear and out the other.
Okay.
Because they just don't make sense.
Okay.
And they're not anywhere near where I want it.
Right. There we go. Okay. So that's one. Anybody else? I'm going somewhere with this. I'm trying to figure it out.
I know where you're going.
I'm trying to figure it out. I see your wheels turning. Chill. All right. So from the last few weeks, one of the biggest issues that it seems like everybody touched on, right, was like patience. Right? Now, here's the amazing thing. When we talk about patience, we talk about struggling with having the patience to actually go through the process, right? But yet, we also talk about being extremely comfortable where we are. So we don't have the patience that's required to put the work in to get where we want to be, but yet, all we do is waste time being comfortable, right? So, today's message, let me flip this over for you guys. I'm gonna talk about this. Comfort zones are what? Why?
Keeps you stagnant. Stuck in time.
Doesn't make you grow.
Indeed. Indeed. So, we're gonna go first one. Doesn't allow you to grow. Give me something else. Why? Why is comfort zone dangerous? Doesn't allow you to grow. What else?
Keeps you the same.
Okay. These go hand in hand, but keeps you the same. Yep. Ask it if you got something to say. You can say it. It's okay. You're down with the crew. Confidence. I trust you. You're my man. You got something to say? You can say it. Anybody else? Yes, Wills.
Doesn't allow you to reach your goal and take the next step.
Okay.
To your goal.
Anybody else?
Sometimes when you're too comfortable, there are certain dangers around you or something.
Could make you lazy, right?
Okay.
You're on a roll.
Anybody else? Besides Dawn? Is he answering all the questions for you guys? Let's do this. Maybe this will help you figure out some answers, okay? Tell me in what areas right now do you feel the most comfortable? Where do you feel the most comfortable in your house? House, you guys try to circle it. Somebody else, where do you feel the most comfortable? House, where? What else?
My driveway.
The driveway. That might not make sense to everybody, but it makes sense to me. The driveway is where he puts in the most work, basketball, that's the spot. Yes.
Family.
Family makes you comfortable. Anybody else?
Yeah, the car.
Call.
Oh yeah.
Okay, anybody else?
Okay.
Your bed. That's in the house, so we just put it over here, bed, bed. Anybody else? Okay. Where you most comfortable?
Around like, your family.
Alright.
Like that cozy.
Friends? Just, family, friends? Alright, anybody else?
School.
School, okay. That's interesting, because a lot of people would say that they don't feel comfortable in school. That's interesting. You must be a cool kid. Anything else? Okay, so we're gonna pull from this. Alright. How many people agree that they're comfortable in their homes? Does everything go exactly the way you want it to go in your house? You? Yes, everything goes exactly the way you want it to go in your house. You get along with all your family members? You love every single one equally in your family?
I love everyone.
I love
You
it.
get along with all your family members?
Bad times, you know.
The car. Is everything completely safe in the car? You have the car that you want, set up the way you want, it's completely safe in it? Car? Is your driveway set up exactly the way that you need it to be, or that you would like it to be? Do you have the best bed you possibly got? Is it like a Tempur-Pedic? Goes up and down?
My pillows on.
Oh, you take your pillows off?
Oh yeah.
So you got the best bed. Your friends. We touched on friends last week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys have the best friends that you could possibly have.
No.
Good selection. this is why comfort zones are danger zones. Because oftentimes what you think is comfortable is a false sense of security. And so you start to rely on these things or even defer to these things, right? As being comfort zones, not realizing that a lot of times, these things that you think are the most comfortable, we didn't touch on school, but these things that you think are the most comfortable are actually the things that actually tend to get in your way, right? The house might be a huge responsibility for some people. It's not really a comfort zone. It's a lot of upkeep. Bills have to be paid. Different things have to be done. Some of you guys hate chores. You hate having to take out the trash. So it's a responsibility, right? With the exception of as it's vetted, everything here is questionable, right? Everything here technically is in a comfort zone. So what would be a comfort zone? What would really allow you to be the most comfortable?
Dream, house, car.
So we're still thinking materialistically.
Yourself, I would go with yourself.
None of you are comfortable with yourselves. No one said that they was comfortable with themselves. Which is why it's so difficult to find out what comfort really is. This is why it's dangerous. Because all of these things you're trying to obtain or be around or engage in, they're not real comfort zones. They're really not. If you aren't comfortable here, it's over. You can be comfortable in this gym, right? Working out. We're comfortable in this gym, it's all love here. And then go to a tryout. You're the same person, what happens? What happens when you go to tryout? JT, what happens when you go to tryout?
You fall apart.
Fall apart. What happens when you go to trial? You execute the way you want it? Because you're not comfortable with
Yourself.
yourself. We talk a lot about the skills. Like if I was to tell you this kid's better than you, you'll go off and no, I know better than you. But when it comes time to actually show that, how comfortable are you with executing what you just said you were? It's a false sense of security. It's a false sense of security. Let's go through this, right? What should be comfortable for you guys with these aspirations? You should be comfortable putting work in. Are you passionate about the work that you put in? Okay. How much time do you spend working every day?
Hour.
How much time do you spend working on your passion every day?
A lot.
Let me ask you, what's a lot? A lot to you might be a little to somebody else. 3 to 4 hours. Jaden, how much time do you spend working on your passion?
At least an hour.
At least an hour. D?
No breaks. 2.5 to 3.
2.5.
You talking like strictly like working out, not like
Just working on your passion. I don't care what you want to call it. Working on your passion.
like a lot. Like almost like
Hmm?
in that case, like a lot. Cause you're like watching.
Give me a lot. Give me what's a lot?
No, I just need like 3 or 4.
3 or 4. We'll go with 4. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. We'll go with 4. 4 hours.
I'm
All right.
subtracting.
Matt, I have to say, me personally, I really don't spend any time working on myself
Okay.
because I'm so busy.
So 0.
Yes.
0 time. 0
Yeah.
time. Jaden, you said what, an hour?
I was
2?
2.5, yeah.
Okay. So, Dior,
Yeah.
your passions. How much time do you spend working on your passions, developing your skill
How
set,
much
working
time
on
do
your
you
craft?
spend on yourself?
2 to 3 hours.
2 to 3
That's a
hours.
lot.
Ray, your hours.
Sometimes the whole day, honestly. Working on myself.
Working on yourself?
Yeah.
Okay. We know Ray's an alien, so.
Yeah.
But what's the day? How many hours in that typical day?
Probably like 8. I ain't gonna hold you.
So 0 to 8 hours.
Yeah, at max.
Okay. majority of you in the room don't even put a full work day into what you're passionate about. That's what you love. So how much time do you spend doing everything else?
Small amount of time, like last minute. It's always last minute. So
Look,
a lot of
the
wasted
rest of your time is spent doing everything else.
Yeah, wasted time. Yeah.
That's a comfort zone. But you should find the most comfort in working on yourself, huh? Because it yields the greatest reward. So shouldn't you find the most comfort in working on yourself? This is why I'm telling you guys, like, these things that you perceive to be comfort zones are really danger zones. So not only is it a false sense of security, it's also a false sense of getting it done. Right? If you want to be a CEO, then you got to wake up in the morning and I'm trying to get every book I can on previous CEOs, no? I'm trying to learn how they got started. What they eat for breakfast, I want to know. I mean, if you want to be a CEO, right, you should have like your top 5 to 10 CEOs. You want to play ball, your top 5 to 10 players. How much time they spend? If you hope to mimic it, you got to, you know, there was a story one time I read. I don't know how true this is because I didn't fact check it, but I read that Mike Tyson, he would study his opponents and see what they were doing for preparation, and he did double or triple. So if you ran 5, he was going to run 10, 15. If you did 1,000 push-ups, he was going to do 2,000 and 3,000. He was going to double or triple. So when he stood on that podium and they do the weigh-in, that menacing look that he had, it was all real. Because he knew he outworked you. At every turn, he outworked you. You guys don't even wake up and outwork yesterday's version of yourself. That's your only competition, to be honest with you. That's the only thing you compete with. Yesterday's version of yourself. If you know that you're spending 4 hours a day working on just your skill, and you're still not where you want to be, you have to change something about that work that you're putting in. You have to add something. Something else needs to be added to it. So it must mean that the work that I'm putting in, the physical work that I'm putting in, it's not enough. Maybe you need a mental component. You know, a lot of these professional athletes, they have like sports therapists that they go and see, performance coaches that help them out, that tap into the things that they're not even thinking about. Right? That's what this is about now. CEOs, they have mentors, they tap in. Right? Business types, they tap in. So it's always a situation where you're being pushed to that next level. But again, you can't do that if you have all of these comfort zones that we love to stand in all the time. Like we're literally running to these things every time. So rather than challenging ourselves and getting comfortable with the work that we have to put in, what do? We spend the majority of our time in these fake comfort zones. Driveway, with family, with friends, in the bed, at the house, in the car, at school. That's where the majority of your time is going. So it's safe to say that whatever you spend the majority of your time doing becomes a comfort zone, right? So you guys could actually be professional at being in the driveway. You could be professional at being in school, being professional at dealing with family, being around family time. Not to say that you shouldn't have family time. I'm not telling you not to have family time. I'm not telling you that you shouldn't sleep. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that these things become comfort zones, and really they may actually be the thing that's getting in the way of what it is that you really want to do. You're actually running away from the work to these comfort zones. You're spending the majority of your time in these comfort zones. Like, what do you really hope to accomplish if you don't spend any time working on yourself? If you get the least amount of time out of your day What do you think the outcome is?
False narrative.
The worst version of yourself.
Absolutely. So some of you guys might think you're killing it, like, right? Like I'm doing the part. Like, it's not fair though. Like I'm working so hard and I'm not getting this. Like it's not happening for me. Why is it not happening for me? Because you're not really putting the time in. It's a false sense of security. It's not, the time is not really put in. Some of you guys are working on, like we talked about last week, right? Like you know you have a list of things to do. We asked Christian, you have a list of things to do to be successful. And he ran down this list. I asked him for 5, he gave me 4. And I said, all right, now out of those 4 things, how much of that are you doing every single day to the best of your ability? He said 2. So we know what we need to do, but for some reason, we only do 50% of the work. So what is that the equivalent to, right? Equivalent. That's like studying your butt off for a test, knowing all the answers on a 100-question test, answering 50 questions, and then putting the pen down. What's the passing grade?
50. 65.
Oh, 65. Passing grade is 65. So you didn't even put in enough work to pass. And you got all the answers. You got the textbook in front of you. You're allowed to use your notes. You have all the answers. So what is it becoming? What is your comfort zone really becoming? If you have all the answers and you only do 50% of the work, it becomes a danger zone. Because of this right here. When you get comfortable, you become lazy. Because you stop challenging yourself. You're comfortable just being in the gym. It's comfortable for you. But if I add any other ingredient to your gym work, hands over. You gotta grow. If I say, Jake, you gotta start talking now. You gotta start communicating. Nope. I'm not doing it. Because I'm not comfortable doing that. If I say, Jake, sit over here, shoot jump shots, and your mind is on layups, nope, I'm not doing that. Can I add something else to it? No, Jake, I want you to work on these fundamental things first before you go to that. It's too simple for you. No, not good. Not realizing that there's things that I see in the fundamentals that you need to strengthen before you, that's not comfortable for you, so you shy away from it. And we all do that. We all do that. Including myself. I'm not exempt. That's how I come up with this stuff. I'm looking at myself and I'm saying, okay, these are the things that I need to do. And then I talk about them because once I talk to you about them, then I'm held accountable.
You know, I agree with that. Like, as you guys get older, you're gonna realize that in order for you to move on with yourself, you have to find and accept the faults inside of you. So when your parents say to you, Dior, you know, you're not doing this, and you're like, but I am. But if you were, she wouldn't say you're not.
Right.
So once you allow yourself to accept that it is true and you're not, then you can grow. You know, and that's really the biggest challenge with everybody is accepting that what is our faults, and then we could correct them, and then we could move on. And that's really like the way to do it. If we're stuck in like, no, I don't need to lose weight, I'm good, I look good, you know, then how am I supposed to really move on and fix myself if I think that I'm perfect? You know what I mean? Because we're never perfect. We always need to grow, no matter what.
Even if you don't think you're perfect, sometimes you guys convince yourself that you're doing enough. Right? So you start poking your chest out like, I was killing it this week. And then dad come in the room and be like, D, what you doing? You got it at this time, you got it. You be so mad with him.
Yeah.
Cause you feel like waking up at 9 and getting it done was good enough. And he like, hey, you got it at 5, son. What you doing? I'm sorry, last time I checked, he wasn't on anybody's National League rank list. 9 is for the people that already got the reputation. They already got the ranking. Those guys just gotta maintain. But son, you compete just to be recognized. how you waking up at the same time as the competition? Listen, if you're trying to take somebody's spot, you can't do exactly what they do. You gotta do more.
Right.
You gotta do more. What's up, Ash?
My dad told me a story where when he was in high school,
Mhm.
because he played football, so when he was in high school, there was always this guy that was a starter for receiver. And my dad thought he was better than him. But here comes a couple months later,
Mhm.
my dad puts in the work and he outworks the receiver that's starting.
Absolutely.
So the coaches say, okay, now you're starting. And he put the other receiver on the bench.
So let me show you guys something. I want to use this as an example, right? I'm gonna use this as an example. So he talks about his dad taking the spot of a receiver who had to start in position, right? And here's what happens when you work, when you guys put the work in, right? You guys are not even looking at the starters. You're not even comparing yourself to the starter. Because if you guys would compare yourself to the starter, you would know you're not. You're not comparing yourself to the star. If you would compare yourself to the star in your position, you would know you're not doing it. Usually when you talk about outworking people, you're talking about outworking people in the borough. You're talking about outworking people that are at the lower level, right? When you talk about outworking, I work harder than him. There's no way you work harder. Even if you're talking about outworking the guy who, technically speaking, in that county, he's the guy. Is he at the top? Is he at the top of what it is that you do? You should be looking to outwork the person who is at the top of what it is that you do. You might be outworking the kid from the rival high school that's nice and not getting your fair shot. But are you outworking your favorite player?
No.
Because again, we got to be honest with ourselves about what we want, right? You're not looking to have what the kid one county over has.
Right.
When you dream, you're dreaming about the Damian Lillards, the Kyrie Irvings. That's what we're dreaming about. So what does that work look like?
All day. All day.
Your parents should be calling you, D, you've been out all day. Like, where you at, son? You gotta eat. Man, I was working so hard, man. I forgot that I didn't even eat. Come on, son, you gotta. It should be the reverse, right? It shouldn't be, hey man, you put the work in today? It shouldn't be that. But now let's say it isn't. Because, I'm not trying to because he's here. For Jake, it's a little bit different. He will forget to eat. He'll forget to do everything else because he's on the court. But that doesn't mean that he's doing everything that he needs to do. Because he'll lift the weights, he'll do the push-ups, he'll run the miles, he'll get the shots up, but then what about the mental stuff? Are you putting in 2 hours a day just sharpening the mind? Right? Because for somebody that works that hard to get in the game and not have 25, 30 points on a team that's not even the top, and you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Something's wrong. Something's wrong. So we got to make the adjustments, right? Dior wants to be a CEO, right? How old are you, niece, right now?
18.
18 years old. Is she too young to have her own company rocking and rolling right now?
No way.
So if you don't have a company rocking and rolling right now, you ain't doing enough. Listen, I said by 25. I didn't say you have to wait till 25. It can happen at 19. You know you can make 1 or 2 moves right now. Going into your second year of college and retire your mom. And still, everything on paper says, Dio, why are you even in this? Why are you even at the school right now? I told my parents I get the degree. Dio, you just made $10 million last year. Why are you still here? So you put the work in. You step outside of the comfort zone, right? Like I said, he's comfortable being in the gym all day. If I gave Jake keys to the gym right now, his parents wouldn't see him moving. He'll be here. He'll find a place to sleep. They'll have to cash out him some money. He'll go up to 7-Eleven or one of the other stores or whatever. And we see how he eats when he goes out. See what you grab. He'll get the food, he'll bring it here. He'll be here every day. And then you guys will come in the gym, and we can play 3-on-3 full court, and he won't talk to anybody. So Jake, be a vocal leader, you gotta be vocal. Okay.
But the crazy thing is, like, in his head, he thinks he is vocal.
He thinks he's doing it.
He thinks he's doing it. That's when I said, when someone's
Really?
saying to you,
Oh yeah, you can't tell me he's not vocal.
right, so when I say to him, Jake, and he's like, no, I am, if you don't accept what why would I tell you that you're not, if you are, right? That's,
Listen,
I struggle with this too. Not in
I'll
specific
watch,
situation.
I'll watch his nervous twitching. Like when Jake starts rubbing his sneakers, the bottoms of his sneakers too much, he's thinking way too much.
I used to do that too.
Right? He used to do something with his hands all the time. Right? JT's got this thing where like he gets nervous. I start watching everybody's body movements. That's how I know what's going on. So when I see certain things, I'm like, Jake, you look, he'll ask me, yo, what do you think I look like? You look nervous out there. I wasn't nervous. Okay. You ask me what I thought, I tell you, based on what I know about you, I wasn't nervous. Okay, so then why did you have therapy? You come off the court and you'll tell me like they're not that good. Okay, I agree. Why did you have 30? Something else is going on here.
you know, and it's really simple for you guys, because you have people around you that are giving you the key to life. No, it's really that simple. You know, I don't know if you had it, Matt, but I didn't have it. I didn't have it where somebody says to me, if you do this, this, and that, this is what's gonna happen. It's not because we're smarter than you, because I may not be book smart or intelligent than you, but what I do have, what we have on you is experience. And that you can't teach. That you can't buy. So if somebody that you know, that you trust in your life is telling you something, they're giving you the key to success. All you have to do is do it.
Right. So we can use Ray as an example, right? Use Ray as an example. Ray's got a ton of information, a ton of know-how, right? But there's got to be a disconnect if he's not where he wants to be. We're not talking about like I'm moving, I'm getting to it. Things are not even in motion the way they should be. They're not in motion. So like, what do you? This is where it gets real now, right? Because now we're having a conversation about it. But how do we activate it so that when you leave here, you feel completely different? You know, like I came up in the church and people would be like, you get like a good message from the pastor, and everybody be shouting and they feel like they got the Holy Ghost and all that, right? And then leave out and do the same exact thing they was doing before they came. So it wasn't like any real change took place, right? Like that's why I think motivation is like BS.
Yeah.
I don't think it's like no such thing. It's no real. Motivation is like, it's temporary, bro.
It gotta come from within so it can be turned.
Yeah, like it has to be something that sticks, and the only way you can get it to stick is if there's an emotion behind it. It has to be a true emotion. See, some of you guys will say, like, I want to do this, but you don't really believe that that's possible. That's why you don't put the work in and you go back to these. We go back to the comfort zones, right? Because we believe in that. The driveway is always going to be there. The bed is always going to be there, right? But if I be like, Ray, listen, bro, I'm telling you, if you take what you know, and these are the steps, and you do this, you can make it happen. You have to compete against years and years and years of life not being the way that you wanted to do. You have to compete against that. And every time you take one step forward, everything that wasn't where you wanted it to be in life is going to haunt you. Ray, don't do that. Remember, that's not what you come from. Remember how hard it was, Ray. Remember how much you lacked in your life. Okay, if you mess this up, Ray, you ain't got nobody to fall back on. Nobody's going to help you. You don't have what other people have. You don't have those things. All right, I'm going to chill right here until I'm ready. Stay right here because I'm not ready yet. I'm going to hold back a little bit until I get ready. Right? Now it's my job to say, Ray, just jump. Figure it out in the air. Figure it out in the air. Just jump. Don't be afraid, just go. You're so young that you could fail 1,000 times. Nobody even know. You could fail every single day from now until you're 22. Right? Like, but then here's the funny part, right? All of the things that you think people will laugh at you about, they'll sit and learn from you because you made it. The same, like, if you tell your story now, people are like, all right, get over it, you complain. Become successful, and everybody wants to hear the story. The same exact story. Once you become successful, that same story that people say, get over it, no shit, tell me more. How did you get here? I don't understand. How were you become so much more amazing because you overcame. So how do you speed that process up? Every single day you do something else to get you closer to that point. You only fail if you stop. It's like being in the stock market, right? You put money in the stock market. Let's say you buy some stock today. The stock is $50. Something happens, the CEO does something dumb, says something crazy like Papa John's or something like that, right? And now everybody's like, oh, you're done with this dude. Okay, stock goes down $30. What do? What should you do?
Buy more.
Buy more. What do most people do? Sell. You only lose. The stock's gonna recover. It's still a good company. Just the person that was at the head, he did something stupid. But they got board members. He's gonna get moved out. Somebody else is gonna step in. It's at the very least, it's gonna go back to where it was. At the very least, right? It's gonna go back to where it was. So if you had 1,000 shares at 50, it's discount time now. You just caught it on sale. You literally just caught stock on sale rack. Double up. Then you bring your base down. So now instead of $50 a share, right, the average might be $35. So now, if it goes up to $60, because now the new CEO came in and said, we'll never have that happen. In fact, we put this in place. We're going to make sure that the company moves like this, this, and this, and this, and then the stock shoots up. You just came up. So how do we invest in ourselves in the same way? Everybody doubles down when it's going good. It would be so easy for you to wake up at 6 a.m. if you had a solidified spot. Because then you would feel like it's paying off.
Yeah.
Right? If we got instant gratification, it's easy to work, bro. It's easy to put that work in. Like if it was guaranteed that you was going to a school on full scholarship right now, they were gonna pay you, they're gonna give you $30,000 a year. And I'm like, yo man, all you gotta do is 5 a.m. I got you guys. 5 a.m. Get up, go on work, this is what you got. All right, cool. It's easy to follow those rules. But when it's still in the air, it's a toss-up, right? We go right back to the comfort zone, and that's when it's dangerous. Like, if I'm you right now, and I'm looking at like the physical appearance, okay, all right, I got this, so I'm gonna double down on that, because that's working. You can see that, all right, that's working. Okay, but what are some of the other things that the people closest to me in my circle, right? What are some of the things that they're saying to me that I need to work on? Just mentally, do me a favor, actually like write that down. But what are some of the things that the people that are closest to you have been saying to you that you need to work on, that you need to do? Like 3 to 5 things that you need to do. Ashley, you were gonna say something, buddy. What was it?
So if let's say you're the best, right?
Mhm.
You're the best on the team, basketball, baseball, football,
Yep.
soccer, whatever. And you know there's someone that's like, you know, like second run, you know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
he's behind you, he's
Yep.
a bench player.
Uh-huh.
So if you're the best and you get too cocky and you don't and you're like, nah, I'm the best, I don't have to put in the work anymore, I'm the
Right.
best. Why just because you're the best doesn't mean you can't put in, you don't have to put in more work.
Right. So then that's something that we have to stay aware of, because sometimes you don't even have to be the best to get comfortable with that. Sometimes you just gotta make it. Like you achieve the thing that you set out to achieve, which is why like a lot of times in the NBA, that was the goal. The goal was to get to the NBA. And then guys get there and they fizzle out. And you're like, yo, how was he a bust? Because the goal was to get there. Some guys, they're so adamant about making the team because making the team was so hard that when they finally get on the team, they stop running. And they regress. We see it at every level. Look, all right, when you get older, you're gonna see this, right? So I want you to remember this. There are people who don't have a job right now, right? And they're literally praying that they get this job that they just filled out the application for. 3 months after getting the job that they prayed for, they hate it. The same boss that they begged to give them an opportunity, they're not telling, that's not in my job description. People do it all the time. If you aren't mindful of what it is that you really want, the thing that you prayed for, that blessing, it becomes a burden. It becomes a burden. You have people that work their whole life to amass a certain amount of wealth. And they want to give it all away. Once they get there, they want to give it all away. Because they thought like it meant more than what it actually meant. They thought it was going to change something. That's why it's so important, right, for your comfort zone to be working on yourself. Working on yourself. And then holding yourself accountable to execution. So just doing the work isn't enough. You actually have to now execute on the things that you accumulate along the way while you're working on yourself. Just putting the work in, it's not enough. I'll give you an example. Let's say you want to be a fighter. You go and you train. Your body's a machine. You're doing everything that you need to do to be a successful fighter, but you never get in the ring. That's where you're at right now. You got all the fighting styles. You know all the different techniques. Look, you can defeat an opponent by looking at him, but you never face an opponent. You never get out there and put the skill to the test. But you can look at a situation like, oh, that's easy, I can do that. I can do that. I can do this. I know what to do right here. But physically, you're not showing up to the fight. You'll even watch other fighters fight and talk about how horrible they are at fighting, but you never get in the ring to beat anybody up. So what's the point? What's the point of having all the information if you're not going to activate it? So then, again, I've seen people become slaves to their own freedom. Nah, I'm gonna keep my hair like this. I'm gonna dress like that. I'm gonna do that. Great. So what do you really do? Now, with all the information that you have, you figured it out. You can move mountains. But you haven't moved the thing. You can outwork the best of them. I'll put you in the gym right now. Look, I could put you, JT, and Delano in the gym right now. Jada, not yet. He's almost there. But not yet. But I could put the three of you in the gym with any player at a professional level. You'll probably outwork them. But 2 out of the 3 of you are going to fall off when competition starts. I'm telling you. You two guys drill better than a lot of people. But when the game is on, we've seen this a million times. Like, I've coached you guys in real games, and I've pleaded with you to show up. Like, yo, this is your moment, baby. You got it. Do your thing. Let me see it happen. And the competition's horrible. But the pressure is so great that you can't perform. It's like a bad dream. I'm looking at the competition knowing that you're better. This is your moment. We could win this whole thing. But you didn't put that type of work in. You didn't put the mental work in. Right? And so that's where it comes, where it's like, all right, now when I'm challenging you guys, when we talk about the first week, right? When I'm challenging you guys to create your own adversity. Create situations that force you to work on those things that you know you need in order to be successful. So now I'm looking for situations, if I'm Jake, I'm looking for situations that force me to communicate and perform at a high level. I'm inserting myself only in situations that force me to do that. If I'm JT, same thing. If I'm Jaden, same thing. Right? If I'm you now, because like your level of work is high. Your bad day of working out is better than most guys, like good day. And you know that, right?
Yeah.
So you rely on that. And then that becomes a crutch in and of itself, like that, right? It doesn't matter. I'm still outworking him. You're competing against yourself right now.
Yeah.
If you know that you're comfortable waking up at 9 every morning and getting to it, you should be waking up at 6.
That's the main struggle.
Because here's the thing, right? Because you could wake up at 9 and start your process. Let's say it's a 3-hour run, right?
Yeah.
So you go wake up at 9, you go from 9, 10, 11, 12. So you're working from 9 to 12. Or you could wake up at 6 and be done by 9.
It's a lot easier.
That's the challenge. Yeah, I would love to do workouts at 6 a.m. I'm gonna lose 90% of the people. I'll never see D. We had 6 a.m. workouts, I'll never see D. Right? I'll never see him. But here's the funny part. D won't come to the 6 a.m. workouts, right? You, and you will show up to the 6 a.m. workout. But then we have a game at 9. D will make it to the game, and he'll play more confident than the 3. That's the scary thing for you. Because you're comfortable there. You're comfortable. You got that.
Wait, I have a question.
Right.
Delano, what has Delano, now is it a maturity thing? Is it an age thing? Would he have done that at 16 years old? You know what I'm saying? Like, is this something that you gotta grow into?
No. He's always showed the ability to perform,
Yeah.
unless the chips were stacked up against him and he wasn't allowed to play.
Okay.
Now, if you don't let him play, that's different.
So he always had the confidence?
Yeah, he's had the
Okay.
confidence. He's had the confidence, but
That comes from
but
something else.
his confidence also came from being thrown in the fire at an early age. Like he was already Conrad McCray in Brooklyn, even though he was a Jersey kid. His parents made sure he had that balance of playing in the hood, and so a lot of this just comes from their exposure.
Right.
Like playing in a hostile environment.
Yeah.
Playing in a comfort zone that
Like what
they've
we
been more
like what we talked
comfortable.
about, right? When
Yeah.
you said Coach Stan was like, yo, when I went over here, it was the best talent, right? And I had to step my game up. There was no way I could go back now. I had to step up to that level of play. And once I showed myself I could play at that level, this was easy, right? So some of you guys are not even putting yourselves in the fire.
My fire is somewhere else now.
Yeah, right? Like his might be time management. That's putting himself in the
It's
fire.
number one.
Yeah.
It's number one on the list.
Right?
Yeah.
So, whereas like, JT's almost anal about time. At 10:56, he's like, yo, what time we start? Okay, we start at 11. All right, we going now? Can we go now? Can we go now? Like, that's his thing, he's on it. Jake is anal about staying extra. Jake, you know we over at 12. Like, come on, one more. We can do one more. Like, it's no big deal, we can do one more, it's all right. Jake, we only paid till 12. Well, how much is it for one more? But you're gonna, yeah, I'll pay for it. I'll pay for the extra time. Jake, you know other people have lives too, right? Like, we gotta go. So it's just understanding, right, the different fires.
Yeah.
But now putting yourself in an environment where you're trash compared to who you're playing against. That's hard for a lot of parents to even see. Like when I tell parents to put their kids over here in the fight, they're just getting beat up so much, it's gonna hurt his confidence. No, it's not.
It's gonna build them
It's
up.
gonna build them up. Let them get dogged. Don't save them. Let them get beat up. That's the biggest conversation I would have with your mom. Man, it's so unsafe over there. Is he gonna be okay? Listen, I've tried to bring kids to Fridays, right? You know what parents tell me? Man, I'm not really comfortable like when my kid like getting shot at. I'm sorry, do you think I'm bulletproof? Because I'm a black kid that grew up in the projects, you think I'm exempt to gunshots? I don't want to get shot at either. What's wrong with y'all? Do you really think I'm lining myself up like, oh, don't worry about it, it's just a couple shots. Take the bullet, spit it out, it's all good. What? But some people are even oblivious to the benefits, again, of that type of adversity.
Yeah.
Because it's harder than anything they've ever seen. Some people are scared as soon as they walk into the, like, remember, I warned you when you was going to Coney Island, right? Before you went, I said, Jake, yo, it's different. This is how you brush it. I've seen this before. Jake.
Seeing it and
Listen, this is Brooklyn, Jake. They're going to be on the gates. There's loud music. There's weed smoking in here. It's an adjustment.
a lot of
The
times
environment itself
exactly being the
is
environment.
one thing.
Yeah.
Then the game, and because even when when you play in those urban tournaments, it's not even about skill set.
No.
It's about being in your face and intimidation.
Your will.
So even if the kid can't shoot, he's shooting the ball like he's Steph Curry, and he's talking. He can miss 10 in a row. When he finally makes one, he's not gonna shut up.
Doesn't matter.
He's gonna miss 10 in a row. You can lock him up. He hits one, he's gonna tell you you can't guard him.
And he's gonna let you
And he
win the entire
listen,
game.
he believes that in his mind. He believes you can't guard. I'm killing you right now, bro. You just first of all, we're winning by 30, and you just missed the last 10 shots you took. Clearly, you can't play. But in his mind, he's one more basket away from giving you the worst night of your life. He believes that. That's what you got to
That's
have.
confidence, though.
That level of confidence.
Supreme confidence.
Like, see, here's the thing. You miss 2 shots, you don't want to shoot no more. You come down court, you premeditated your move. I'm going to hit him with the crossover. You haven't even seen what the defense has done yet. And you're about to give him the crossover. So now when you go into them, he reads it, it rolls off your foot or you get plucked. Now your confidence, the air is out of your balloon. And all of a sudden you can't play anymore. So now when you come down the court, the next time, you don't even have to play defense. You bounce the ball, it rolls right off your foot. Oh my God. Next play comes down, you go take a shot that you hit a million times with your eyes closed. It's an air ball. Oh my God, I have a bad game. I can't play. I can't do this. I can't do this. I'm not ready. I don't know what's going on. I suck. That's what it becomes then. The negative self-talk starts, the doubt starts, all of these things set in.
That adversity is important.
Right? So that's what I'm telling you guys.
Yeah.
Create your own adversity.
Yourself in the same environment.
Your adversity might not be adding 50 more push-ups. That's easy for you to do. You're comfortable with that. Your adversity might be, all right, yo, let's go. We're gonna hop in the van. You gotta go inside Starbucks and convince them to give you a 50% off discount. Huh? Why? That's stupid. Why I gotta do that?
And especially, you're right, you may think this has nothing to do with your game by going into Starbucks and asking for a discount.
And then here's the thing, even if I convince Jake to do it, right? Jake, it's gonna help you guys. I'm telling you. You go in here and you knock this out.
That's
It's
the
gonna
leadership
help,
part.
right? But check this out. This is how Jake's gonna do it. This is how he's gonna do it. This is how Jake's gonna do it. I promise you. So I got one of these Starbucks right here. Yeah. I can do it. All right, Jake, go ahead. Huh?
That is true. It's so
I
true.
know this because I've seen him handle situations like this. I say, yo, Jake, speak up. You gotta talk. Okay, guys, come on. What? Guys, you gotta move. Jake, you gotta speak up. I am. Now, to me,
I don't think
I
I
am.
ever see you
I
yet.
am. I am. I'm doing it. I am. Listen, earlier on, I'll tell Jake something. He's giving me all the attitude in the world. I'm doing it. What are you talking about? Jake, you're not. Yes, I am. Jake, who are you talking to? He would rather fight me than execute on what I'm asking him to do for himself. And that's the situation with a lot of you guys.
Yeah.
Because it's comfortable. You would rather fight your dad
That's all
and
I'm
prove
saying.
that you're right than to take his advice on it, right? How many long car rides have you had after the game? Well, your parents, like, they know, like, brother, I've been driving you all around New Jersey. We've been going to all these workouts. I seen you knock these shots down. What are you doing? And you're like,
You're not the only one
"Oh,
exempt to that.
I'm doing it. Mom, Dad, I'm doing it. I don't understand it. But you're not. You just found a comfort zone and you stayed in. You stayed in. You can go a whole game and not take no layups. Listen, Jake will tell me, he's killing me, right? In his mind, I'm doing all the things I gotta do. Jake, my shots wasn't falling. Okay, cool, you couldn't hit nothing. Let me ask you a question. How many shots did you take? I had one in the first quarter, 3. I took 4. Jake, even if all 4 were 3-pointers, and you hit 100% of the shots, it's still only 12, my man. The law of averages is not working in your favor. The average NBA player shoots what percentage? Anybody know? Can somebody Google that for me? What is the average shooting percentage in the NBA? Who can Google it real quick? Let's see. About to close this in a second.
Average shooting percentage NBA is 46%.
Okay, 46%, so less than 50%. Right? Less than 50%. So if you want to, so let's just call it, for argument's sake, for math numbers, let's just say 50%, right? That's the average shooting percentage. So if you wanted to score 20, how many shots would you have to take? Off 2 points. You have to take at least, if you want to score 20,
At least
right?
20.
Take at least 20 shots.
Oh.
At least 20 shots. When's the last time you took 15 shots in the game? We'll come back to you. When's the last time you took 15 shots in the game?
A few months ago.
Okay. How much did you finish with?
20.
Okay, cool. When the last time you took 15 shots in the game?
I don't
Yesterday.
I don't see it.
You took a lot of shots yesterday.
I don't think Jake took 15 shots in his whole career in a game.
I don't know.
I don't think so. Alright, I don't think so. When's the last time you took 15 attempts at something that you said you really wanted to do?
I haven't.
Okay, Theo. 15 attempts. CEO.
I don't know.
That's not scary for you, guys? You're passionate about it. You're serious about it. Right? Like you'll rip a teacher apart for trying to tell you that you should work a 9 to 5. Now 20 is the goal. I'm giving you 5 less. Y'all love all the memes that say shoot your shot. Ain't none of y'all shooting though. You're scared to shoot. How you gonna be great? If he was as committed to taking those chances and putting himself in adverse situations as he is to talent right now, it'd be a whole different world. And the same could go for so many of us. Right? If you were as committed to taking your own shots to develop your own business as a CEO as you are to making sure people understood that they can't hold you to a systemic approach to life, where would you be? Yeah. Right? What you stand for will always outlast what you stand against. So that's what you need to put your attention towards. All right? Your attention, your energy, your time has to be dedicated to what you stand for. Right now, you are a woman here, you raw, that's got to be all your time and attention. You should be even trying experimental businesses just so that you can learn processes. What does it mean to, run a marketing campaign? What does that look like? Do I need video? Do I need photography? Teaching yourself a little bit of everything. What is SEO? Right? What's my man, Junior Bridgman?
Yeah.
Wealthiest NBA player? Over $1 billion. He didn't make that money from playing. He played for the Bucks, but he didn't make that money from playing. In the off season, he worked at Wendy's. Not because he wanted to work at Wendy's. He wanted to own Wendy's. By the time he was done, he ended up being the largest Wendy's franchise owner in the world. Right? So what are you doing to prepare yourself for what's coming next? How many CEOs are you sitting up under plugging their brain? We talk about being the sum of your 5 closest friends and all that other stuff, right? So we're gonna wrap with this. Listen, we're gonna wrap up with this. I need you guys to create adverse situations that take you out of your comfort zone, okay? And you have to put up this week, you gotta put up at least 15 shots. What do those 15 shots look like, right? So those 15 shots might be a series of, okay, I'm gonna reach out to this person and see if I can get this person to be a mentor to me in this situation. I'm gonna reach out here and see if I can get an opportunity going. I don't know per se what your immediate goals are for whatever businesses and things that you wanna do, but your 15 shots need to be related to that thing that you wanna do, that isn't comfortable for you. It can't be what you've always done. It has to be something completely outside of what you normally do. So you have to create a situation where you're forced to communicate way more than what you normally do. I know you like to think you're the ladies' man and you talk to any girl and all that other stuff. All right, cool. Let that be a part of your 15 shots. You got to reach out, talk to a few people, spark that conversation without using Instagram. Because sometimes you guys hide behind social media.
Not real.
Right? Like the law of averages in the DMs. That's nothing, right? You can just go home, go on a snack, yo, what up?
You said a copy of
You go 15, yo, what up? All right? Do all your 15 shots. What do your 15 shots look like? I challenge you to take 15 shots. 15 shots. What is your business? I want you to structure it out and then take 15 shots. Create a business. Create a business. That's your challenge. Create a business, something that you believe in, that you can grow, that doesn't take a lot of startup costs, right? You can just start it. Right now, at this stage of your life, you can start it. All right? And if you need to get funding for it, we'll help. Right? Because you also have resources here. You can bring the idea on Wednesday and say, yo guys, look, this is the business that I got here. I need help. I need somebody to play this role, play that role, this role, whatever. We can get it started. Don't tell me what you don't have. Work for what you want. Right? That's the challenge. I would love for you to have something in motion before you even go to school. Don't wait on anybody to teach you. Let's learn in real time. Right? Your 15 shots, what do they look like? Your 15 shots might be 6 a.m. Go home.
That's one.
Go home.
Much time.
Right? What do your 15 shots look like? And look, it might be you hitting Ray because Ray might be stronger in a certain area. Yo, homie, I need you on this one for me.
That's true.
Right? He can help you rebound in more ways than one in life.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so you got to use your resources. Okay? That's the challenge. I know y'all got to go. I love y'all. Next week. All right?
Appreciate you.
Appreciate you, G.
Yeah, you're forcing me to take action on things that I've been just stuck
So
in
on
time.
Wednesday, we're gonna talk about. Look, I'm not even coming with another lesson on Wednesday.
Yeah.
This is for the week. I need y'all to come back and tell me how you stepped outside of your comfort zone and took your shots.
It's been like things that I've wanted to do, but just saying, I'll do it. It's stuff.
When you stop about the grandparents show?
Nah, today I got class. That's why I'm getting out of here.
Oh, okay. Oh, you got that summer class?
Yeah.
All right.
One more, then we'll be done. Okay. All right. Nice to meet you, man. All right. All right, my guy. See you on Wednesday. All right, bro. Catch you later, bro. Come on Wednesday? Yeah. Okay. One of these days this week, though, I'll go by there so you can come with me, bro.
So contact Gary.
Yeah. Seriously.
Yeah, because you could ride
So
down there.
Say it again.
Meet her. You could ride down there and meet her.
Yeah, where's she lives in Winboro, right?
William Boulevard. Bro, sweetest woman in the whole
Right,
world.
tell me, we went to the spiritual store and got